So you just completed a long run of US shows opening for the Scorpions after a great trek in Europe. So how was it playing in front of audiences which might not have been familiar with your music beforehand? Was it kind of a new challenge for you?
Uh, I mean, I'm always up for a challenge. I love a good challenge. But yeah, it was quite intimidating, I would say, to, like you're saying, like basically nobody knows who we are and we're here and people think we're replacing Whitesnake, which is huge. So it's like a lot of like double up, like who are these girls? But I, to me, it was nerve-wracking, but like it was like so exciting and just the best feeling ever to be. Um, I like proving people wrong. Like I
Mhm.
like the opportunity to show people that I or we are worthy of this position that we are in, and that
Mhm.
we're gonna do the best we can to make the Scorpions proud and show them that they did in fact do the right choice by picking us. So for me, it was just a lot of fun to actually show us, and I think that we were or are and we're extremely ready to take that opportunity and run with it, and so yeah, I hope I answered the question. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah, and as you know, as fans, of course, we are curious to know how you got along with the band because we saw some pictures of you and videos of you meeting with the band. So did you manage to talk with them, hang out a little bit? How did it go?
A little bit we did. They actually came and said hi already on the second show, which was huge for us. We never expected that. So to me, I felt like they seemed like really cool and inspiring, like very inspirational. I think that they're so um, down to earth, being that they are the legends that they are. I think that to me is something to inspire. Like I like I didn't get any like diva or weirdness or anything. It was
Mhm.
just like very nice of them to come and say hi to us, the opening band. And also Klaus always like talking really well about, mentioning us and saying really nice things about us. So I mean, I don't know them like personally, but
Mhm.
the few times that we did meet, I do have a lot of respect for them and they're very nice, and I'm forever grateful for the opportunity that they've given us. So
Yeah.
yeah. I hope I
And
could be like them when I'm 74, like Klaus.
yeah, that would be so great. And I hope you'll be on the same level of success and
Oh my goodness.
that would
Yes.
be excellent. And yeah, because I was asking this because Scorpions have a kind of reputation that they are really uh, benevolent, towards the opening bands. That, for example, concerning light shows and do you feel like they help you feel good during the tour? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I feel like they've been super generous with us. Like we were able to have a great sound, volume wise and production wise. They didn't try to make a sound. Like you hear these stories from other bands about like, oh, the opening band is their sound is so much lower, or
mhm,
things like this. I think that it was like the opposite. You know
mhm,
what I mean? But I
okay.
think that, and this is just my personal opinion, but if you're confident in what you do, you don't have to, you know, dabble or try to ruin it for the new guy, because you know what you bring to the table. You don't have to, and that's kind of how I felt with Scorpions. Like I don't think that they don't feel threatened. They're comfortable in their role and they know they're badass legendary rockers. So they're just happy to see a new generation coming up. That's kind of how my take on it, how I feel it.
Mhm,
Like even with the fact that they allowed us to have a camera on us so we could use the screens, which was huge. And I mean, obviously, the main band is always going to have the bigger show, bigger stage, but that's like obvious things. But the fact that they allowed us to have a big backdrop, we had a light show, all these things that I've heard from other people is not the norm when it comes to these situations. So,
mhm.
yeah, I think that they're they've been very awesome, like towards us, like really.
Great, excellent. And yeah, during this opening tour, you played about 11 songs and you stayed about 40 minutes on stage. So I was wondering, how do you build a set list when opening for a band? I mean, and as a singer also, do you have the last word concerning the song selections, given that you have to sing them? How does it work for you? Set
I
list?
wouldn't say I have the last word, but I do think that my ability to stay at the same, perform at the same level throughout a 2-month-long tour, is definitely something that I think that we as a group consider. Like, we're not gonna choose all the songs that are up here, you know, all the time. So you have to like think about that when you create the set list. But I think when we did this is the first time that we had like a strict show, like 40 minutes, and we really try to do a set that we felt would match the Scorpions. So we didn't do like go all in with the more punky fast songs. Like, we had a few songs that were fast and party, but it was not like, we don't want to shock these people either, because I mean, just like the THUNDERMOTHER fans, a lot of the rock people, Scorpions fans, they've been around for a while, so they might not want to see like a punk vibe type of show. They're there, they love the ballads, they love the mid-tempo songs. So we had that in mind a lot. So yeah, we try to do something that we think that would warm people up enough, where it was like fun party vibe, but not like, we don't want to get them exhausted, which easily could happen with THUNDERMOTHER songs. I mean, sometimes on cruises, we're just like, it's a party set, and it's just like bam, 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 bam. And like, I don't feel like that would fit as well with the Scorpions. But yeah, that's kind of how we thought.
All right. And yeah, so, looking back in time, for example, I mean, 40 years ago, the Scorpions were in your shoes. I mean, they were opening in the US for the first time for bands like Aerosmith, AC/DC, and all those bands, which are now aging. And I mean, how do you feel about the retirement of those bands? And also, do you feel like a band like THUNDERMOTHER can be a torchbearer? I mean, for good rock things to keep on.
Hell yeah. I think that that's exactly what we hope and aim to do for the genre. There's not that many people like actually taking care of the classic rock music, I think, the way that we are doing it, where I think that we mix up all the old stuff and have been able to create our own like fresh sounding take on it, which I think is very important to be able to go and, step into the shoes of all these legends that like pave the way for classic rock. I do think it's sad that they're, aging, but that's part of life. We're all aging, and we can't stop it. But so I think that what we can do is just try to honor it and try to keep the legend, the legacy going, but in our own THUNDERMOTHER way. So yeah.
And some of those bands, I mean, for example, Kiss just said that they wanted the band to keep going on even after the members have retired, with new members and stuff like that. And I mean, Scorpions, you take their example, I mean, they had Swedish producers, they got a part Swedish drummer, so you could be the next Swedish singer. Now, what do you think?
I love that idea.
Yeah, great idea. Let's make it a Swedish band.
Yeah, put it out there. Fuck yeah. No, but I mean, I think it's interesting. I haven't heard Kiss saying that, but it doesn't surprise me at all. I think that as a concept, it's cool, but I would rather see that there's new bands coming up, trying to create something of their own and new, because I think that's a big reason why rock has like stagnant, like it's stayed where it is, because people just try to do what people have already been doing instead of like making it their own and keep creating, and like people are like stuck in their ways. But I mean, if they would want me to replace Klaus, I mean, I wouldn't say no. I would be an idiot, but I think that it should be called something else. It would be like some sort of tribute show. Okay. But yeah.
You know, I mean, the Scorpions was a band which, since the beginning of its career, you know, they made it really clear that they wanted to have an international career. And, you know, they were the first German band to have such a great success abroad, and particularly in the US. And I think many bands said that they paved the way, in a way, you know, for those bands emerging in the 80s from Europe, Germany, and stuff. And so, do you feel today, like a band, for example, for a band like THUNDERMOTHER, do you feel like you are a worldwide band from the start, or did you feel it was difficult for you to go abroad to have some shows outside your country, or was it kind of natural thing for you to do?
I think for us it's been a natural thing. It's always been. We're actually much bigger in Germany than we are in our home country, Sweden. So for us, it's always been more. Not because we don't want to be big in Sweden, it's just because the market, and I feel like throughout Europe and especially in Germany, where we obviously been touring the most, people are more open for new music. Like I feel like there's a more openness and more an interest, genuine interest of hearing live music, and it's just like a bigger part of culture. Whereas here in Sweden, things are starting to change, but you always have to get to a certain level to get the respect. Yeah, internationally, it just seemed like for us the natural way in Germany and Europe, all throughout Europe.
I was just wondering, well, as a music fan, you know, I like to buy CDs. I know a lot of people now prefer vinyls or just don't buy any physical support at all. But I was wondering, you know, in a time, you know, when bands, I think, earn their money mostly through playing live. Well, maybe I'm wrong. How important for you is it to release new album, to be creative on an artistic level? I mean, how important is it for you to release album instead of, for example, just songs here and there or just playing live?
I personally don't think an album is that important because the industry looks the way it does. But it's like you know, double-edged sword, where obviously we're creative people and we love writing music and we have fun writing music, and it's also a way for us to you know, create our own sound, which is important. But it's like you have to release an album to get reviewed. You have to release an album or have something new and fresh for people to want to book you. So it's always kind of like this, like, you know, the circle of life vibe where it's like you have to do this to get this to get this. Like, it's the music industry is such an old-fashioned industry. Like if you look at, you know, we love playing live, we love releasing music, but people only listen to singles. Most people listen to one song and then they put it on their playlist. And I'm guilty of this too, so I'm not like blaming anyone, but it's like maybe it's just better to release singles, you know, that and obviously it's going to end up in an album, but I don't know, it's like a weird thing. And also in the rock industry, it's like music industry is dated, but rock is like even more. It's like it's a very old-fashioned way of thinking, a way of doing business, a way of everything, because a lot of people in rock music, I feel, are scared of the evolution of stuff. It's like it's a natural thing. Like when people created the music that we now love and take inspiration from, I don't think they were thinking that way. They were creating. They were, you know, they were evolving a genre. Now rockers are like, oh, rock is like this. It needs to be this, and it needs to be that. No, it doesn't. And then that's where you get stuck. So I think that it's important to keep creating and not so much like staying in the boxes. But I don't know how that's going to change. But I think that in THUNDERMOTHER, and obviously me having these this is my opinion, I always try to work towards more like aiming to do things that we like, not so much you know, restricted by like rules, like bullshit rules. I'm not about that, but obviously we're a rock band, so it's going to be within whatever rock. I mean, it's guitar driven music, so yeah.
On your latest album, you got this excellent song. I mean, for me, it's one of my favorite, I Don't Know You, which at the same time, of course, we can hear the AC/DC vibe within and in the overall vibe. But then you've got this really strong vocal lines. You've got these hooks, really strong hooks and melodies on the chorus and stuff, which make it much more bigger than just an AC/DC song. I mean, it's much more than that, and it's an excellent song. So, well, an easy question would be, how would you blend it together? But it would be maybe, maybe it's so much interesting to answer.
For me as a singer, I do like a variety. I like the rappy voice. I like to sing the high stuff. I like to I have a naturally raspy voice, so that kind of blues raspiness is always like present. But I like to showcase my whole range. Like, I like to do different things. I think it's boring to always sing the same way. And I know all singers, including myself, we have specific runs, like, like Paul Stanley's, like, whoa, whoa, you know what I mean? Like, everyone has like their own little thing that is awesome and everyone loves it, but it's also fun to not just do the whoa, whoa, you want to, like, you want to go all over the place, but because if you can, why not,
Yeah, sure. Sweden in France has brought us two all-female great hard rock bands. We got a few years ago Crucified Barbara, which made quite a good shot in France also, because I remember seeing them live quite a few times, and Thundermother. And both bands never relied on the fact that they were built around female musicians. And I think that more and more people see you as musicians, I mean, no matter male or female. And do you see an improvement with the status of women musicians in the music scene in the recent years, or do you still feel some prejudice sometimes, maybe also in a live environment? Or do you feel like if you were a male or female band, it doesn't change anything for you?
No, I think that it's still a process. It's not completely over. It's still something that, I mean, let's say it like this, it's getting better and better. And I'm very proud over the fact that, like you said, both Thundermother and Crucified Barbara, not that I know them personally, but what I've seen of how they presented themselves, it was first and foremost about the musicality, and being great musicians and writing great songs. And that's the same for Thundermother. And that's something I think is super important. But the industry is a little slow, and there are still prejudice here and there. I do, like I said before, I do enjoy a challenge and proving people wrong. But yeah, sometimes it does get a little tiring, because you're kind of like always the underdog, regardless of the situation. But I'm confident in what I do, and I rarely get, how am I gonna say this without sounding like a big diva, but I rarely get threatened by other singers or performers. Like, if you're great, it gets me excited and pumped. Like, I'm just like, fuck yeah, or inspired to, continue learning or growing. But no, it's like, I'm really happy with the talent that I'm blessed with.
Yeah, excellent.
And I worked really hard for it too. It's not like, oh, it's like natural. It's like you need to work on it too.
Yes, I imagine. Yeah, I was also wondering, when you started to discover your potential as a singer. I mean, how did it work out for you?
I mean, it's been a long journey. I started singing in like a church choir when I was a kid. I just liked performing and singing. At that time, I didn't know if I was good. I didn't even think about that, but I already knew that I wanted to be super famous rock star. No, at that time it was probably like a pop or whatever, like Britney Spears or something. But I started really early practicing doing my autograph. No, but then I mean, I tried all genres, and I even had like vocal teacher that sent me to a speech therapist because I have a natural raspy voice, and that was like, they didn't know how to deal with that. And then I eventually decided I went to Musicians Institute in Hollywood, California, in LA. And at that school, I really got into rock. And that's when I really started like singing rock, whereas I hadn't really done that before. So that's when I really fell in love and felt like, wow, this is where my heart is. I felt at home straight away. I feel like my voice could just evolve so much, and I could do so many things within the genre that were loud and not weird. And it's like, it's not weird to be raspy, whereas if you're trying to sing pop, it's like, are you sick again? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like weird. And in rock music, I could be completely myself. And one of my first inspirations within rock music was Sebastian Bach from Skid Row. He was like a huge inspiration for me starting out, because I really liked how he sang and how he went about vocally doing his thing.
All right, okay. And maybe you remember then the first time that you performed on the stage?
Oh, for 10,000 people?
or less?
Or just my first performance
concert?
ever. I don't remember. I mean, it must have been in church, so that was like in a choir setting. I remember I did a thing in like 9th grade where I performed. I must have performed with I had a band when I was like 13, 14. We must have performed something then. The thing is, like, I get very nervous, so I kind of like, it's a process for me to remember everything, because I do have a tendency to get extremely nervous.
Right.
But I do remember the first time we played for 10,000 people, and it was Wacken 2017.
All right. Yeah. So was it your first year with Thundermother, right?
Yeah, first year with Thundermother. We played Wacken that summer, and it was the biggest crowd I had ever played for.
Right. Excellent. And maybe you remember the first song that you wrote, the first lyrics?
That I do.
Oh.
I wrote a song when I think I must have been 7 or 8 or something like that. And we were in a talent show in the school. And me and my friends wrote this song called We Are Witches in Swedish. All about witches, and it was very like musical type song. And we came in 2nd place. Like, I do remember it, like the little bit of the song, but yeah. You want to hear it?
Of course.
So it's like very silly, but what the part that I remember is like, vi är häxor som kommer och går, som kommer och går. Vad är kryp som kommer förbi. De tar vi i vår gryta när vi är riktigt glada, så sjunger vi så här. It was like super silly, but yeah, about like eating bugs or something, some stupid, ridiculous, like very childish, but yeah, it was like the first
excellent song. Yeah, thank you for that. That was
You're
great.
welcome. You're welcome.
All right. Okay, well, I'm basically done with my question. I've just got, last one, of course, the usual one. I mean, because we would be happy to have a chance to see you, of course, more often here in France. So have you got anything in store for us? Can we hope to see you very soon on our stages?
Okay, so we're going to be playing Hellfest on the 18th, I think, of June.
Great.
So that's going to be super fun. But with the Scorpions, we might be back, but we haven't got an answer yet. So I'm just like, let's hope. But yeah, that's what we're waiting for right now.
Excellent, and hopefully we'll see you as a headliner also in our country. That would be
amazing. Yes.
Okay.
People will never care.